how to recruit team members and actually keep them. I know sometimes in the network marketing space, we bring in these team members and we're so excited and we're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be, the top of my comp plan in about 0.2 seconds because I brought in these team members, which is amazing. We're going to talk about lead generation here in a second. But it's also really, really important that you keep those team members, you keep them engaged so that they continue to produce and continue to sell and then replicate and build as well. And that can sometimes be some of the hardest parts of this network marketing space is the duplication. And so I'm going to talk about it in today's video as well. So the first thing that we need to talk about is how to recruit, how to get leads to you. So at the time of this video in summer of 2024, the best way to get leads is through Reels and through short form video and or on YouTube like I do. So if you want to know how to build on YouTube, I'm going to put in the link here in the description of this video, my free masterclass on how I've been able to build to the top of my company all by using YouTube. And so I'm going to link that here for you. You can see my free masterclass on all things YouTube and how I've been able to build a business here on YouTube. But number one, you've got to put out leads through video, right? Whether it be long form video on Facebook, YouTube, or short form reels like Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. So you have the leads coming in. And now what's really important, and it's a piece that actually people forget, is they're like, oh, yay, I had a viral video or something like that. I had, a video that had hundreds of thousands of views. Well, that is fantastic, but how are we going to use that as a lead generator, right? So I like to say that it's the $1 million messenger, and I call it the $1 million messenger because it is the way that you're supposed to be building. So you're supposed to be showing up inside of Messenger, having those conversations. Now, there's actually two different ways to approach this. You can ask the question directly, or you could build a relationship and get to know the person first. Now, I personally am all about relationship building. I do believe that network marketing is a relationship building business. And so I love to get to know the person first. And then I ask them very simply, hey, I'm not sure if this is for you, but would you at all be open to taking a look at what I do online to make an additional income stream if it didn't interfere with what you're already doing? And if not, no worries and no big deal, right? So I like to make it really, really casual. I like to make it so that I can take it away from them if it's something that's not interesting, to them. And I want you to remember this, right? Once we do pop the question, we do ask if they're open. And if they're not open, it's only awkward if you make it awkward. So if they're like, yeah, no, that's not really for me, where it becomes awkward is if you're like, okay, goodbye, right? Versus, oh, no worries at all. Tell me, what are you up to this weekend or something like that? And so if you carry on that conversation, it's no longer going to be awkward, right? So you have that conversation, you ask them, and now we're going to ATM them. What does ATM them stand for? It stands for add them to a group, tag them in a message, or a video that your company has put out or your upline has put out or a sideline has put out. And then you're going to follow up with them in Messenger and you're going to put them in a chat with your upline, right? So ATM, add, tag, message them. And so then what's going to happen is so you're going to say, yes, I'm open to taking a look. And you're going to say, okay, great. I'm going to add you to a group. I'm going to follow back up with you tomorrow or at 7:35, tonight. Will you have had a chance to watch that video? And then so you're getting their confirmation that they've had a chance to watch the video, and then you're going to follow back up, right? Now, if you want to see how I have recruited 10 people in 10 days, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link for you over here so you can watch it the next video about how I've recruited 10 people in 10 days, right? So now they've watched the video. I follow up because remember, the fortune is definitely in the follow-up. I follow up with them and I say, would it be okay if I added you to a group chat with my upline and I edify my upline, my sideline, my downline, whoever it is, somebody that I think would resonate with them, right? And they can answer any of the other questions that you have. I love adding them into a group chat because it takes it away from you and it's part of the duplication that I talked about in that first video, right? If they're thinking about the process of what they've gone through and they're like, oh, I can easily add somebody to a group and they're going to answer all the questions for you, they're more likely to then, once they join your team, to duplicate the process with you if they see how easy and simple it is, right? And then finally, I just, say, so are you ready to get started? Or, what are your thoughts on getting started on a scale of 1 to 10? How ready are you to start building an online business, right? and they'll give me their answer, and then we'll move forward with the enrolling process. Now, that is just the tip of the iceberg, because now you've got to keep them as a team member, right? So how do you do that? Number one, you've got to make sure that you have systems in place set up so that your team can duplicate. What do I mean by systems? So we have an entire launch strategy, and it's all in a board for you. It has your first post, it has your before and afters, your testimonials that you can use. It has our launch formula for you. So having those things in place before you get started recruiting is super duper important. So if your team doesn't already have it, make sure you're kind of putting into place some of the strategies that your team members, your future team members, are going to need in order to get started, right? Do you have a strategy with Reels? Do you have a launch formula post that they can be doing? And I'll make another video on this as well. So definitely make sure you subscribe, because I don't want to get too far into it, but definitely make sure you have systems in place for your team to get started. Now, you also want to make sure that these are step-by-step, very easy to do systems, right? So you want to make sure that they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing every step of the way when they're building their business. And so that is going to be key as well. And then finally, and I think that this is one of the most important pieces that people miss, especially leaders, is recognition. So many people join the network marketing space because they want to be recognized, right? So it's the little things, it's the little bits of appreciation, it's the little call outs. So-and-so did their first post, so-and-so did their first video, so-and-so got their first, customer, or they asked the question if somebody was open. It's those little celebrations. It builds such a culture in your community, and it really helps make it so that your team continues to stay with you and are very loyal to you. And so I think that it's really important to set a culture and to set some very specific recognition goals that you have in place on your team. Celebrating all of the small and large wins on your team is going to be huge for keeping your team engaged, keeping them going, and keeping them motivated and sticking with you at the same time. So again, this is Julie Reynolds. I hope that this was helpful. Definitely make sure you subscribe to this channel so you never miss out on another episode of Julie Reynolds TV.